Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Melanie for those that are new here. And I know it has been a heck of a hot minute since I have put up any new videos. That may just become the tagline to this channel. I know it's been a hot minute, but because that's about the rate things are happening around here these days. However, the bookshelf is finished, it is getting full, and I am loving it. I know I have shared a few book reviews on here already, but I figured I would give them a little title and we'll call them Mel's Shelves. So welcome to Mel's Shelves. Today's video is going to be all about my pink and purple stack right here. These are some of my Kristin Hannah books. She is one of my favorite authors, and this book right here is the one that started it all for me. I read it, oh gosh, so many years ago now, and loved it so much. And I have now read, I think, everything she has written. And while this is no longer my favorite read of hers, it is still one of my top favorites. The Nightingale is my favorite and actually just got picked up for Reese's book club for the March book of the month. Oh my gosh. I can remember where I was when I finished that book, just bawling, sobbing. We'll do a little review of that one at some point. But for today, I figured we'll do a little pink and purple review and start with the Magic Hour because it really is a great way to kind of get started into the Kristin Hannah books. I will go ahead and read the synopsis and you can see if it's something that might be for you. In the rugged Pacific Northwest lies the Olympic National Forest, nearly 1 million acres of impenetrable darkness and impossible beauty. From deep within its old-growth forest, a 6-year-old girl appears. Speechless and alone, she offers no clue as to her identity, no hint of her past. Having retreated to her Western Washington hometown after a scandal left her career in ruins, child psychiatrist Dr. Julia Gates is determined to free the extraordinary little girl she calls Alice from a prison of unimaginable fear and isolation. To reach her, Julia must discover the truth about Alice's past, although doing so requires help from Julia's estranged sister, a local police officer. The shocking facts of Alice's life test the limits of Julia's faith and strength, even as she struggles to make a home for Alice and for herself. In Magic Hour, Kristin Hannah creates one of the most beloved characters and delivers an incandescent story about the resilience of the human spirit, the triumph of hope, and the meaning of home. And it really did all of those things. So basically it is about a feral child, this psychiatrist's journey of working with her, trying to come to terms with her own past, the scandal that involved another child that she had been working with, and just kind of all of that coming together, coming to fruition, coming to a point in this story. And I just fell in love with it, fell in love with Kristin Hannah because of this book. And if you have never read anything by her, I highly, highly recommend trying. Whether you start with this or maybe join Reese's book club and start with the Nightingale, both of those would be great ways to kind of jump into Kristin Hannah books. Just in my opinion, the one I would not choose to start with, just because it was my least favorite of hers, is Fly Away, the one at the bottom of my purple stack. So Fly Away is the kind of continuation of the story from Firefly Lane, or maybe it's the reverse, but I'm pretty sure Firefly Lane came first. Yes, and I did enjoy it. It's still a good read. Just Firefly Lane and this one are my least favorites of hers, so I would recommend starting somewhere else. But the synopsis, a little snippet says, once, a long time ago, I walked down a night-darkened road called Firefly Lane all alone, on the worst night of my life, and I found a kindred spirit. That was our beginning. More than 30 years ago, Tully and Kate, you and me against the world, best friends forever. But stories end, don't they? You lose the people you love, and you have to find a way to go on. So if you have not read Firefly Lane yet, don't know what it's about, just stop listening for a minute because this synopsis is going to give away a little bit of what happens at the end of Firefly Lane. But it's basically about lifelong friendships, what happens at the end of those friendships, and picking up the pieces afterwards. So it says, Tully Hart has always been larger than life, a woman fueled by big dreams and driven by memories of a painful past. She thinks she can overcome anything until her best friend Kate Ryan dies. Tully tries to fulfill her deathbed promise to Kate, to be there for Kate's children, but Tully knows nothing about family or motherhood or taking care of people. 16-year-old Mara Ryan is devastated by her mother's death. Her father, Johnny, strives to hold the family together, but even with his best efforts, Mara becomes unreachable in her grief. Nothing and no one seems to matter to her until she falls in love with the young man who makes her smile again and leads her into his dangerous, shadowy world. Dorothy Hart, the woman who once called herself Cloud, is at the center of Tully's tragic past. She repeatedly abandoned her daughter Tully as a child, but now she comes back drawn to her daughter's side at a time when Tully is most alone. At long last, Dorothy must face her darkest fear. Only by revealing the ugly secrets of her past can she hope to become the mother her daughter needs. A single tragic choice and a middle-of-the-night phone call will bring these women together and set them on a poignant, powerful journey of redemption. Each has lost her way, and they will need one another and maybe a miracle to transform their lives. And it really is a good story of just kind of how things work out of grief, coming through, and kind of finding a new normal, and just what that process looks like. And that may be kind of why it was hard for me. I read it at about a time in my life that I was also walking through my own grief. And as much as I would have liked it maybe to kind of make me feel connected, it really just probably wasn't the right time for me to read it. I'm not sure, but either way, still a really good story, just not my top Kristin Hannah favorite. And True Colors, which I actually plan to reread soon because this was another one of my favorites that I still remember and tell people to read, and it's been so long since I read it that a lot of it is just fuzzy to me. But it's a story of sisterhood and just kind of how each of us within a family is so different, but how that works and comes together and that balance. But True Colors is about the Gray sisters, and it says, the Gray sisters have always been close. After their mother's death, the girls banded together, becoming best friends. Their stern, disapproving father cares less about his children than about his reputation. To Henry Gray, appearances are everything, and years later, he still demands that his daughters reflect his standing in the community. Winona, the oldest, needs her father's approval most of all. An overweight bookworm who never felt at home on the sprawling horse ranch that has been in her family for 3 generations, she knows that she doesn't have the qualities her father values. But as the best lawyer in town, she's determined to someday find a way to prove her worth to him. Aurora, the middle sister, is the family peacemaker. She brokers every dispute and tries to keep them all happy, even as she hides her own secret pain. Vivienne is the undisputed star of the family, a stunningly beautiful dreamer with a heart as big as the ocean in front of her house. She is adored by all who know her. Everything comes easily for Vivienne until a stranger comes to town. In a matter of moments, everything will change. The Gray sisters will be pitted against one another in ways that none could have imagined. Loyalties will be tested and secrets revealed, and a terrible, shocking crime will shatter both their family and their beloved town. With breathtaking pace and penetrating emotional insight, True Colors is an unforgettable novel about sisters, rivalry, forgiveness, redemption, and ultimately what it means to be a family. And I did find that true in the book. I just remember thinking all families kind of got stuff in the closet, and how you work with that, work through that, come together, fall apart. True Colors is a really good book for that. So again, if you've never read Kristin Hannah, one, you should know, I think that was a pretty solid theme through all the synopsises. Kristin Hannah books are hard. It's hard content matter, done in a really well-written, good way. But just know these are books to turn to if you need a little bit of a tearjerker or you want something a little heart-wrenching. These are going to be something to look for. If you have never read Kristin Hannah, I hope you enjoy her as much as I do. Let me know which book you're going to try first. If you have read Kristin Hannah, which book is your favorite? Like I said, mine is The Nightingale, but they're all great. So I hope you enjoyed this little Kristin Hannah Mel's Shelves book chat. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.